Tate situation is always just crazy. I honestly just want him in prison. I just want him in prison. We should just send him back to the place that's trying you know, they want him back. They want him back to put him in prison. I don't know why we allowed him to come to America, but we need to send him back. This is Internet Antarchist. Andrew Tate's life is falling apart, and it's about bloody time.
Innocent men don't run, they clear their name in court. That was Andrew Tate's message from a private jet in March 2025. Exactly 484 days later, US Marshals surrounded him outside a bare-knuckle boxing event, placed him in handcuffs, and took him into federal custody. As of this recording, Andrew and his brother, Tristan, are sitting in a holding cell awaiting extradition to the UK, where they are expected to face 59 charges ranging from forcing himself onto women to the alleged possession of CSAM. Just when they thought they had escaped it all and were publicly celebrating their freedom, it was all taken away from them in an instant. Now,
yeah, again, it just makes sense that people who do something wrong, especially with the things they've been accused of, let the courts do their go through their process. Let the courts go through their process.
It looks like this could be the beginning of the end for the Tate brothers. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today, we're going into the latest news surrounding the Tate brothers, and revealing not only what led up to it, but what's in store for their future. If you've spent any amount of time on social media over the past 4 years, you've probably heard of Andrew Tate whether you wanted to or not, so I'm not going to waste 20 minutes.
I don't understand this whole alpha male nonsense. I just don't. The thing is I don't know why. I view a lot of people as insecure, as like the other day I was watching Nick Fuentes, and he was going out on a tangent about Sneeko, and I was like, it feels like projection. It feels like projection. And I think it is. I think a lot of people, they see the world the way, what is it? Someone that accuses you of something, be wary, because they're most likely doing they're most likely doing that and trying to deflect the attention off of them. Honestly, I could easily believe that. I could absolutely believe that some people actually do that kind of thing. That they'll project their own insecurities and the things they do in the world onto others. Because these alpha males will talk about oh, don't do this, or me and my wife have seen some clips, jokingly, of course, where it's make sure you open a bottle of water this way. What? What? Open a bottle of water. Open a bottle of water like this. It's so freaking ridiculous. I think these are people that have, well, for one, they probably have abandonment issues because their father wasn't around. And then the other part, they don't know who they are. They don't know who they are as a man. They don't know who they are as a human being. They have massive amount of insecurities, so they try to surround themselves with money, women, cars, life of luxury, when they're all not doing so well for the most part. They all seem incredibly unhappy. And that's the sad part. It's just they haven't been able to find happiness because, again, true happiness is first finding out what's true to you. Who are you as a human being? And self-fulfillment is lost on a lot of people. And they view self-fulfillment, that's the thing. It's just there is self-fulfillment as, which people would view as an alpha male, just pursuing money, wealth. But no, I view self-fulfillment as finding out who you are, being content with yourself, not trying to push your ideology onto others or make others feel like this is what it means to be a man. No, just be yourself. Just be yourself. We men already are inherently stubborn, are inherently kind of arrogant, but we also need to know how to be cordial. We also need to know how to be stoic. We also know how to be that's the thing. It's just it's lost on a lot of people. They think it's just being, oh, well, let's just chase money. Let's just get a body count instead of just finding that one person that you want to dedicate your life to.
recapping his entire life just to pad the runtime. Andrew and Tristan Tate are British-American brothers who went from being fairly successful kickboxers to becoming two of the most recognizable figures on the internet. You know the rest. Hustlers University, Matrix, Red Pill, debates, and millions of dollars generated from teenagers that had nothing better to watch during lockdown. In 2022, Romanian authorities raided their properties and charged both brothers with human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group.
The Matrix has attacked me.
Prosecutors allege they used what's known as the loverboy method, presenting themselves as romantic partners to lure women to Romania before coercing them into producing online adult content and taking the majority of the profits for themselves.
What's funny is that's just a common tactic. I'll just say that. That's just a common tactic. Normally, that tactic is used to, should I say it? Bring people to the Middle East, but, not so much the Middle East, but places like Pakistan. You know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm getting at. But, yeah, I don't understand that. I really don't. How insecure do you have to be to literally bring people over to a place where then you can have, literally, you have access to everything. If they got there on a passport and on a visa, you take that and you have full control over their life.
Allegations like this weren't a one-off thing for the Tates, and it seems their past has come back to haunt them.
Mr. Tate, would you mind signing?
Tate.
Kristen, anything to say?
Looking at the footage itself, there are several wild details packed into just a few seconds. The first thing you'll notice is the person filming asking Andrew for an autograph. It's still unclear whether the person recording was working with law enforcement or was simply an actual bystander, but either way, it had the same effect. Andrew immediately slips into fan mode, assuming he's about to sign yet another mouth breather's autograph. Then he sees it. Out of the corner of his eye, he spots the officers closing in. The entire thing appears to have been a carefully planned ambush. Within seconds, undercover agents surround him from every direction. Having been through legal trouble before, Andrew seems to recognize what's happening almost instantly. His first instinct is to hand his phone to one of his bodyguards, before the officers can seize it. He doesn't make it though. The phone slips out of his hand and falls to the ground, where one of the undercover officers, or potentially an event security guard, picks it up. Then there's another moment that's almost comical. You can see his friend Justin Waller trying to pull Andrew's chain over his head before he's fully detained. Instead, it gets caught on the top of his head, and ends up dangling awkwardly from his bald skull, while officers continue escorting him away. They say pride comes before a fall, and in the case of the Tate brothers, it couldn't be more true. Over the past couple of years, the Tates have been using the fact that they weren't in prison yet as proof that they are innocent, and stretching any outcome or delay into claims of being exonerated and free, with Andrew taking it to Twitter to make multiple tweets taunting his accusers. Romania, no case. UK, no case. USA, no case. 4 months in jail, 3 years locked in my house. I'm one of the most mistreated men in history. I am in Miami. At Gov Ron DeSantis, find probable cause and...
That is insane. That is absolutely insane to well, I guess tweet out that you're one of the most persecuted men in history. Sure, man. Sure. House arrest. Most people were under house arrest basically during COVID, and not everyone had a luxury lifestyle. But then again, I'm more of sanitary? What's the word? What's the word I'm looking for like someone who's more of a homebody? I guess just a homebody.
Arrest me. Tell that weak little twig AG to stop pretending he's a man on the news and come arrest me. Then charge me with a crime. I dare you to arrest and charge me so I can clear my name in a court of law. Come get me. I'm home and waiting all day. For people that don't have the full context, this may come across as legit. If it was a criminal that actually did something, surely he would be prosecuted, right? Well, let's just say that
the legal system is incredibly slow, and it does, especially when someone's overseas. They're not in the nation that they committed the crime. It becomes even more sluggish.
there's a reason why he was recently arrested.
I messaged her. She's like, I'm only 16. I was like, give a f know about me. 21, I don't care. If he were to start lying and saying all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16. I mean.
All right, in Romania, 16, sorry.
So Vivian's been with me 6 years. She's completely head over heels, loving me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we felt whatever, we're in love. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21.
Bruh.
One of my main chicks has 200,000 Instagram followers, and I took her virginity when she was 17.
Seriously though, how is he not in prison yet? To understand how he was even free to walk around in Miami, we have to rewind to 2023, when the Tate brothers were placed under a travel ban while Romanian authorities worked through their criminal cases. That ban was lifted in early 2025, which is pretty shocking once you look at why. According to a New York Times article, the decision was reportedly influenced by the Romanian government's desire to, quote, appease the current US administration. Richard Grenell, a diplomatic envoy for the Trump administration, is said to have discussed the Tate's case with senior Romanian officials, including an advisor to the Prime Minister and the country's foreign minister. After those conversations, an extraordinary order allegedly came down from the highest levels of the Romanian government, instructing prosecutors to find a, quote, compromise with the brothers. Andrew Tate even claimed in private text messages that the Trump administration was, quote, on top of things, and that he would be free soon, because, in his words, Trump needs to see me in Miami. Legally, there was another major factor. By that point, the prosecution's case had largely fallen apart. In late 2024, a Romanian judge threw out the original 2003 indictment for human trafficking, citing procedural mistakes. That ruling prevented the case from moving to trial in its existing form. However, a separate investigation involving allegations of trafficking minors and money laundering was still ongoing, but it had not yet resulted in an active indictment. Legal experts described this as a, quote, lull in the proceedings, meaning there was technically no live indictment against the brothers when they requested permission to travel. So, in short, Romanian fronted the case so badly that the Tate brothers were ultimately allowed to leave the country. Whether the current US administration was quietly pulling strings behind the scenes is still up for debate. Looking back though, it's hard not to wonder if letting them travel ended up being a 4D chess move. By allowing them into the United States, it may have made it easier for authorities to pursue extradition later. Who knows? What matters is during those months of freedom, and even before their initial travel ban release, the Tates had been desperately trying to make as much money as humanly possible, as well as battle for any kind of relevance. If you thought the legal cases were the only thing dragging Tate down, somehow it gets even more embarrassing. Around the same time his criminal charges were hanging over his head, he decided the obvious next business venture was crypto. Which is funny because this is the same guy who had spent years saying he would never promote scam coins.
Again, all these alpha male people are complete hypocrites. Complete hypocrites. It is absolutely insane. They have no real morals, no real guiding no real guiding compass other than the dollar. The dollar is there. Like, again, like he will say he would never go into crypto, and then once he started losing money, I'm gonna get into crypto because now it means something to me. It means the idiots who follow me will pay me. That kind of stuff. It's insane.
And that he wasn't like all the other influencers trying to rob their audiences. That position changed pretty quickly once the money started drying up. Suddenly, Andrew Tate was promoting coin after coin, with the most infamous one being called Daddy Coin. The biggest problem for Tate wasn't people making fun of the name, although there was plenty of that. It was when CoffeeZilla started digging into it in October 2024. Tate insisted he
I remember seeing that video. Oh my gosh, that was great. That was like one of the first. Again, what's funny is I've started getting more onto the social livelihood of like these people. So the first time I had ever heard of Andrew Tate was actually my nephew made a YouTube video on Andrew Tate, and I was just like, I've heard that name before. No clue who it is. Let's see what my nephew had like information and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what that person's done. And then CoffeeZilla came out with his video, and I'm just like, this person's just an absolute monster. It's just like, why do people listen to these people? It's so sad because, again, a lot of these people's target audience are kids. They are children. They are kids that think that if I emulate this person, I'll be able to get that girl in my classroom that I like. You know, that weird kind of stuff. It's just like, what the heck? What the heck? Just stop that. Just stop that. But the thing is, too many kids grow up on this. Too many kids grow up on this. It is crazy.
Was simply helping his followers make money, but the blockchain activity and promotional posts painted a very different picture of Tate, essentially rug-pulling his most dedicated followers. Instead of addressing the criticism, Tate completely melted down. He leaked CoffeeZilla's email address, encouraged his followers to spam him, and uploaded videos doubling down on promoting Daddy Coin. As if that wasn't enough, things somehow got even worse with the real world. Tate's rebranded version of Hustlers University. The platform was marketed as an exclusive community where members could supposedly learn to escape the quote matrix and become financially free. In reality, it looked more like a Discord clone layered with subscriptions, rankings, tokens, and enough gamification to keep people paying every month. Then, the entire thing got hacked. Because the platform was reportedly running outdated software with known security vulnerabilities, hackers were able to gain access far more easily than anyone expected. They flooded the site with memes, altered emojis across the platform, and generally turned the place into complete chaos, while members watched in real time. The hackers leaked roughly 14 gigabytes of internal data, including over 800,000 user email addresses, private messages, and information connected to Tate's exclusive war room community. Members who had paid thousands of dollars for supposed privacy suddenly found
the fact that they have hey, at least he's working at McDonald's. At least he's working at McDonald's. That's a plus. That's a plus, especially for a Tate fan.
their information exposed online. Fast forward to December of 2025, Tate decided to step into a boxing ring with influencer Chase Moore. Despite constantly portraying himself as an unbeatable fighter and one of the toughest men on the internet, the exhibition ended up doing more damage to his ego than any court already had.
Yeah, because then people found out that he had never really done a real exhibition before. He had been like one of those second-hand fighters, and he'd never done anything professional.
Chase was bigger, more aggressive, and repeatedly pushed the pace, while Tate struggled to establish any real control. Clips of Tate getting backed up around the ring spread everywhere online, and the fight quickly became another example people pointed to whenever he talked about being an unstoppable alpha male. With all that in mind, it comes as no surprise that the Tate brothers were arrested in Miami. It's almost like they were suddenly jolted awake from this fantasy they had been living in, where they thought they had escaped the reach of the law. Sure, they were getting humiliated left and right, but as long as they weren't sitting in a jail cell, none of it really mattered. They could still plan yacht parties, host events, network with influential people, and carry on like nothing had happened.
Well, and again, if they did that, they're more likely, if they were actually planning to let them loose, cut them loose, see what they can slip, because these people just don't shut their mouth. Eventually, they'll let some evidence slip. We'll be able to trap them with their own words. Honestly, that could have been the plan. Like, you know what? We can't find them on these charges. Let's cut them loose and continue trying to find them on these other charges. I could easily believe that.
Now, that's all over. This wasn't just a wake-up call about where Andrew Tate stands legally, it was also a wake-up call about his popularity. Almost immediately after the arrest, people across Twitter and other social media platforms started making fun of him, especially his outfit, myself included, because let's be honest, that might be one of the fruitiest outfits a man has ever worn. Some people even claimed they found the exact outfit on a women's clothing website. Then, the courtroom sketch was released, and people immediately started clowning on Tristan Tate's failed hair transplant. They really couldn't help themselves, and who can blame them? Following the arrest, the Tate's legal representative, Joseph McBride, released a public statement saying, "We are of course objecting to extradition because Andrew and Tristan are innocent. We are working to get them out of there as soon as possible." Just as a side note, Joseph McBride actually has a YouTube channel that you can go look at right now. It's filled with AI-generated thumbnails, and most of the videos barely crack triple digits in views. Some don't even reach 100. It's exactly the kind of YouTube channel you would expect Andrew Tate's lawyer to have. Tate has also...
He's got a YouTube lawyer? If you're gonna get a YouTube lawyer, you want a good one. A good one. Like a Legal Eagle or what is it? Legal Mindset. The only reason he got that one is because I guess that lawyer hits the gym, is bald, and has a beard. I could be Tate's lawyer at this point in time. I could be his lawyer. I'd be a terrible lawyer. I'd end up making sure he got incarcerated. We don't need him in society. I rest my case.
Also responded to the arrests by having someone post things like, "If I was really a sexual predator like grooming gangs, Prince Andrew, BBC presenters, or Lord Mandelson, Epstein's best friend, the British police would not be hunting me around the globe. They would be protecting me." Of course, it's probably his legal PR team running the accounts right now. I seriously doubt he has access to his phone. The replies to that post are also locked. which is pretty funny considering how much he talks about free speech. Elon Musk even replied to someone quoting the post, calling it his quote, strongest argument. Around the same time, a 3-hour interview with Tate that he prepared before being arrested was released, where he spends hours talking about how the Matrix and the global elites are coming after him. The timing of that interview feels especially strange. It almost comes across like there's a coordinated effort to repair Andrew's public image, which is funny because that's exactly the kind of operation he always claims is working against him. Meanwhile, the richest man on the planet is publicly siding with him, or at the very least showing empathy for his situation. Remember when I mentioned earlier that Tate supposedly said Trump wanted to see him or needed him in Miami? Well, it turns out that's not the case. Trump has essentially said he will not step in to stop the Tates from being returned to the United Kingdom after their arrest. The future for the Tates is looking extremely grim. The walls are finally closing in on them after all these years. If they are found guilty of these charges, they very well could serve life in prison, as 10 of Andrew's charges carry life sentences. The British government very likely wants to make an example of them to show the world that people like the Tate brothers cannot get away with essentially bragging about sex trafficking women, allegedly.
I messaged her. She's like, I'm only 16. I was like, give up.
Again, I can understand, like, when should a government say no to, like, an extradition of, it's someone who's like the David Headley. He would be too valuable of a resource, even though he's like, he's a terrorist in and of itself. Like, he'd be way too valuable of a resource. There are those resources as human beings that you just want to keep locked up and use as a weapon because they have no remorse, they have no empathy, they're completely psychopathic, and the government can utilize them. The Tate brothers, they're just retarded individuals. They're just retarded individuals who took advantage of women. So it's like, yeah, we don't need that. There's no reason you need to be left in the United States. There's no reason you need to be protected because there's no information you know. There's no abilities you have. There's no, like, you can't send them at something and have them attack it. Like, they're not that kind of person. So it's like, yeah, like the David Headley makes sense. I think they'll keep him locked up and control his movements so that way he can work for the U.S. rather than being a free agent. But like the Tate brothers, like, yeah, we don't need them. We don't need them.
What about me? 21, I don't care.
Will the Tates finally get the justice they deserve? Or do they somehow have an ace in the hole that could get them out of this jam? For now, all we can do is wait and see. But if I had money to bet, I would wager that Top G is slated to become a bottom very soon.
Hang up that computer call. Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantic.
If you want to stay updated, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so insane. I don't understand how they got so popular. Was it before or during or after? Like, oh no, it would have been during or before COVID. It would have been during or before. But yeah, it's so crazy. I find it so insane that people find that stuff as informative. Again, it's normally just kids. It's normally kids who want to impress a girl. And it's funny because me and my wife were watching like clips from Twilight the other day, and it's just like, yeah, with the way like, you don't want to get your information about how to talk to a girl, how to approach a girl from an alpha male or from movies. Because imagine being Edward in Twilight the first time he saw Bella. That was just creepy. That is just creepy, especially like after the fact. That is incredibly creepy. Tell the teachers, call the cops, have them completely removed. Like that's the type of situation that was. But it's so insane that these alpha males are able to get so far by just playing on the vulnerabilities. And I guess it makes sense because that's their own personal vulnerabilities. They just made a market of their own personal insecurities towards people that share those same exact insecurities. That's just how it works. That's just how it works.
You guys got a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait on that.